Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is fundamental unit of life, cell, here we were talking about that of the microscope. We had discussed that what are the discoveries that happen in the cell. You see students, if we talk about the discoveries itself, so discovery says a lot of a thing. Like the first thing that is discovery of the cell happened by that of the Robert Hooke, and later on it was discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek. So he has seen a living cell, and Robert Hooke, who is also known as the father of cytology, he discovered the cell, and he has seen this in a dead cord cell. Then Robert Brown is there, who discovered nucleus, which is an important part, which is the core of that of the cell. Purkinje was there, and he saw that there are fluid present in that of the cell, and he has given the name to it, and that is protoplasm. Later on in the same chapter, we will understand, students, that what is a protoplasm and what are the things which is included in the protoplasm. Then the discovery moves on, and this reaches to the Sheldon and Swan. And Sheldon and Swan, both of them had given theory which we called as a cell theory, and they had explained that all the cells are actually coming from the pre-existing cells. Okay, they said that all the living organism, whether it is a plant or the animals, are made up of a smallest unit or a basic unit which we call as cell. It was R. Virchow who has explained the term of the existing cells, that every cell they are coming from the pre-existing cell. So these are the few discoveries that happens. You see students, the discovery of a microscope also occurs. So at first there was some of the German workers who were working on the lenses. Later on, Galileo, who worked on the lens, and he have seen how to magnify, means the lenses that will help in magnifying the images. Antony van Leeuwenhoek, who is also known as the father of microscopy, and he discovered a compound microscope, and that is quite useful in order to see the small object. And with the help of his microscope, we were able to see the structure of a yeast or a bacteria. So a lot of the things, even the cells also, the structure of a cell, sperm cells can also be seen with it. So we can say here, red blood corpuscles are there, which used to flow in the, which used to circulate in the, in that of the capillaries. It can be seen with the help of the compound microscope. So we can say here that that Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he discovered a microscope that was quite useful. Later on, two German researchers who were working on the electron beam of a light, and they said that if a light rays are necessary to magnify the images, so electron beam will also help in magnifying that. So they came into a conclusion, and they said it was the researchers, they had discovered a microscope, and that is the electron microscope, and it is supposed to be the best discovery, since it helped in seeing all the things very clearly with the help of that microscope, and because of that they also won a Nobel Prize. So these are some of the discoveries that happen in case of a microscope, that how microscope also get discovered. There are a theory which we call as a cell theory, that we were talking about even in the previous class also. What happened in case of a cell theory, students? There are two German scholars were there. One is botanist and one is zoologist. So I told you about that of the cell theory, students, that is, there was a German botanist and a German zoologist was also there. So Sheldon and Swan. So Sheldon, he worked on the plant, and he came to an observation that all the plant, they are made up of a basic unit, and that is called a cell. The same thing that was done by Swan, and he examined many type of animal tissue. Swan examined many animal tissues. He examined many animal tissues and he found that that interior of both interior plants and animals are same. Interior of both, whether it is of plants or that of the animal, that is same. It means both of them consisting of nucleus. Both of them consisting of nucleus. Both of them consisting of nucleus. Not only this, but also have membrane around it. Protoplasm is present in it. So this is what, students, this is that of the observation which was observed by Swan. So Swan and Scheele, they came to a conclusion that both the plant and the animal are having the same interior. It means both of them consisting of center which is called as nucleus, and this nucleus is covered with a membrane. The cell is also covered with a membrane that is called as cell membrane, and there is a fluid which is present, that is also present in both the plant cell and the animal cell, and they had given the name to it, and that is known as protoplasm. Okay, so these are the things which was observed by Schilden and Swan. Later on, Schilden and Swan, both of them have proposed a theory which is called as cell theory. So they taken the observations and together they had given a theory that is called as cell theory. So we can say here that it was a joint proposed theory by Schilden and Swan, students. Now see, what are the postulates of the cell theory? Many times this question is asked, so we can say that it is quite an important question. So the first postulate is all living beings are composed of cells. This is important, students. All living beings are composed of cell. So they came to conclusion, the first point that they had given, that whether it is a plant, whether it is an animal, both of them, they are made up of a very small unit, and that is called as cell. So all of them are composed of a cell. The second one, all the cells are basically similar in chemical composition, and metabolic activities, as well as metabolic activities. So whether it is any of the cell When we look at the structure, we will find that all the cells present in any of the living organism, they are similar, especially if we talk about their composition, as well as their activity is also very much similar. So having the same metabolic activity as well as having the similar chemical composition. Next one is, that is, the function of the organism are due to the function of organism are due to the interaction of the constituent cell cells. So the function of the organism, it is due to the interaction of the different cells present in the body. So all the cells, they used to interact together and they help in performing the different functions. So we can say here that the function of an organism, whatever the function that we used to perform, it is basically due to the presence of the cells, the different cells which is present in it. They used to interact with each other and finally the function of the organism occur. Next one is, new cells develop from old one. New cells develop inside from the old one. New cells develop from the old cells. We have already understood this concept, students, that the cell, they used to grow and finally they become old, they become dead, and from the same cell, new cells also came out. So this is also explained in the theory that how the new cell is formed. So new cell is formed because of the old one. Old cell, they used to divide again and again, and finally the new cells are formed. Next is, students, that is, cell could be spontaneously generated as a crystal. Cell could be generated spontaneously like a crystal. Okay, so we can say here that a cell, it comes from the older cell. So we can say here that this cells, it can be generated, it could be generated spontaneously, and this could be generated like that of the crystal. Okay, so this is what, student, these are the few things, that are the few postulates which was given by Schilden and Swan. So we can say here that these are the postulates of the cell theory. This cell theory is later explained by Rudolf Virchow. So he has expanded, we can say, expanded that of the cell theory, and the final cell theory which was given by him is known as modern cell theory. So these are the postulate of the cell theory which was given by Schilden and Swan, and the same theory was expanded and improved by R. Virchow. That is called as modern cell theory. So let us see what do we understand by modern cell theory and what are the different postulates in modern cell theory. So, modern cell theory. Modern cell theory. The cell theory was improved. Was improved by R. Improved or modified by him, and then he stated the concept of omnis cellular cellulae. Okay, he has given this concept of omnis cellular, which means that new cells came from pre-existing cells. Okay, new cells always arise from pre-existing cell. New cells always arises from pre-existing cell. Okay, so this is the theory which was improved by R. Chow, and he has explained. He has given the statement of a concept omnicellular, in which he said that the new cells, it actually came from the old cells, from the pre-existing cell. Okay, now this concept was finally proved by Louis Pasteur, and then the postulates of the cell theory came. So let us see that what are the different postulates of the modern cell theory. So, the important features of the modern cell theory. So, the most important feature was there, student, that is two only, and that is the cell, it comes from the pre-existing cell, and the second one is that all the living organisms, they are composed of the cell and their products. These are the two most important things which was explained in the modern cell theory. Now let us see that what are the important features again in that of the cell theory, total cell theory, and that is, the first one is, cell is a basic structural and functional unit of life. Structural and functional unit of life. Cell is a basic structural and functional unit of life. This is the first postulate of that of the modern cell theory. Remember that, students, the theory which was given earlier by Sheldon and Swan and the modern cell theory, there are not much difference, but there are some few modification has been done. So chances is there that while writing, I may repeat some of the postulates that we have already seen in the cell theory. So they are already included and they are not discarded. Means they are not the shortcoming of the Sheldon and the Swan theory. So we can say here that it's okay. we will going to include that also. That is also a part of the cell theory. And few things we had included, few things was included by our Virchow, and then it becomes a improved cell theory, which is also known as modern cell theory. Second one is, cell is the smallest unit in which the life exists. So cell is the smallest unit in which life can exist. Cell is the smallest unit in which life can exist. Third one is, all living beings are made up of cells. All living beings are made up of cells. Now, there are few things is there, like what is present inside that of cell. So every cell is consisting of protoplasm. It consisting of the nucleus and cell membrane in it. So we can write it. Each cell consists of a protoplasmic mass, then containing a nucleus, surrounded by a cell membrane, with or without cell wall. With or without cell wall. With or without cell wall. So we can say here, students, that is, every cell, it is made up of a protoplasm. It consisting of a protoplasmic mass. It consisting of a fluid present in it, that is called as a protoplasm. Then it also consisting of a nucleus in it, that is also a part of every living organism cell. It consisting of a cell membrane, and this cell membrane may be covered by cell wall, or it may not be covered with that of the cell wall. In plant, it consisting of cell wall. In animals, there is no cell wall present in it. Next is, a cell is able to maintain vitality. A cell is able to maintain vitality and individuality. Individuality. So a cell is able to maintain the vitality as well as individuality. So every cell is different from each other. So it is having its own individuality. Next point included in it. All the cells are closely similar in structure and function. All cells are closely, all cells are closely similar in their structure, similar in their structure, and chemical composition. Structure, chemical composition, and basic activities. So we can say here that the structure is almost similar in all the cells, and even their function, the basic function is also very similar in every cell. So all the cells, they used to show they are closely similar with each other if we talk about the structure, as well as they are similar in the basic activities. Next one is that new cells arise from pre-existing cells. New cells arises from the pre-existing cells. New cells arises from the pre-existing cells. We have already seen this, how the new cells, they are responsible for the formation of the new cells, how they are obtained from the old cells. Next is, a cell can be specialized. A cell can be specialized to perform a particular function, according to the need of the individual. According to the need of the individual. So cell can be specialized to perform particular function, and this function can be according to the need of the individual. It means they get differentiated into the different functions also. Okay. The next postulate of the modern cell theory is, that is, a cell contains all the required information. A cell contains all the required information in the form of genetic material. So cell contains all the required information. Every information is present in the cell that will be present in the form of a material which get passes from one to the other generation. Finally, all present day cells have a common origin. As they have arises from single cell. That was evolved for first time. that was evolved for first time. These are what postulates of the modern cell theory.